Hi everyone, I'm Victor-Hayashi, a Master of Science student. I hope you enjoy our presentation. So the title of my paper is Project-Based Learning During the COVID-19 Pandemic, Experiment Reports of Initiatives in Computer Engineering. I am Victor-Hayashi, and together with Professor Reginaldo Akaki and my co-author Felipe Valencia de Almeida, we are from the Computing and Digital Systems Engineering Department from Polytechnic School, University of São Paulo, Brazil. So first of all, this is the outline of my presentation. So I will provide some introduction with the project-based learning concepts and the challenges that came with the pandemic. Some prior work that we had in Internet of Things and how we could use this knowledge, this expertise to motivate students to use IoT in their projects. Some experiment reports for 30-year and 50-year computer engineering students, and my final thoughts in the conclusion. So follow my lead. Here we had the social distancing necessary for COVID-19 pandemic. It made a huge impacts in the society as a whole, and the education was not different. And on the other hand, we had some necessity for the engineering education because the engineering students must learn concepts, exercise them, and then apply them in a real life scenario. And it was a challenge how we could perform practical activities in this context of a social distancing. We had some ideas at start, for example, the collaboration with diverse teams consisting of professors, technicians, and the students to discuss the old and new ways to teach and how to combine them in this new situation. Develop proposition that we wanted to motivate our students to use technology to create value to people, not just technology for technology. We also wanted to provide the real-time feedback on students, so they use interacted with data and actions using a remote lab that we built using Internet of Things, in addition to simulations. And this aspect of how close to reality these projects were, because we motivated this to students to get their situations and problems that they needed to deal in their daily lives, following the project-based learning paradigm, and then specify a problem and then propose a solution during their projects. So for prior work, we didn't need to actually start from scratch because we had the Internet of Things project from 2016 to 2019 regarding smart home, energy awareness, elderly care, for example. And we used all this expertise to build our remote lab. We used an IoT platform to connect the physical equipment, the field programmable gate arrays, FPGAs, to the students in their homes with a mobile interface and desktop interface. So for example, this is how our test bed looked alike. The students could use this infrastructure to actually propose their projects upon. We had some experiment reports. So for the third year, we had the Digital Lab 2 and the Scientific Initiation. For the fifth year, we had the Software Engineering Lab and the Capstone project. So for the Digital Lab, we had some very interesting projects that they used that remote lab infrastructure that I presented. They worked in groups of 2 students. And their projects were very diverse, and they could deal with themes like problems related to sustainability, like this integrated IoT trash bin, and this other one that proposed a garbage collection to be used inside the rivers. It has also this automatic alcohol gel dispenser that was integrated into our daily lives during this pandemic. You also had this internship system, a platform to digitalize vaccine information, the use of natural language processing for business processes in the software engineering lab in the 50th year. These groups from 1 to 4 students. And for the 30 year, also had the scientific initiation, which the students needed to develop this Arduino smart meter prototype at a low cost and inside his home. We needed to assist in a remote way because of the social distancing. This also happened to the capstone project for the 5th-year student. He used the ESP8266 development board, the Arduino, Raspberry, and some other sensors to build a smart home monitoring system. So what we had here, we used the Internet of Things knowledge and expertise from a Master of Science student, that is me. I acted as a co-advisor and teaching assistant in these project-based learning approaches. And we could apply them in 2 undergraduate courses, 1 scientific initiation, and 1 capstone project during 2020. So we had at total 29 students that proposed and designed and engaged with 14 projects, 7 for the digital lab, 5 from software engineering lab, 1 from the scientific initiation, and 1 from the capstone project. So we presented these experiment reports of initiatives in computer engineering. We know that it is very challenging to propose new ways of doing things, even in the COVID-19 pandemic. But we saw this pandemic and the social distancing not just as challenges, but also as opportunities for the application of project-based learning and how we could use this with our internal physics expertise to engage students. We applied this in the 30 year and the 50 year students. And in this year, we are continuing with this 30 year and 50 year, and we had also expanded to the 1st-year students. And we are having very positive outcomes by doing that. So the goal of this paper was to spread the study cases that how we dealt with the COVID-19 pandemic using this approach in our university in Brazil. And I invite anyone that is getting interested to go to our GitHub repositories. We have all these open source materials for you to use. Thank you very much for your time.